Hello, Ministry of Children, Community, and Social Services. Jay speaking.
Hi, it's Jesse Hakela calling back, wondering if we're going to fix disability today.
How may I help you, Jesse?
Well, we need to fix disability. We need to double the basic income support that people on disability get. I'm currently working on a lawsuit against the minister's office for treating me like an animal and abusing me like an animal and stopping me from traveling outside of my home. So I was wondering if we're going to fix that today. I'm currently making these phone calls to build my case that I've told you, like today I'm going to starve, tomorrow I'm going to starve, all the way to the end of the month I'm going to starve. I have no food left. Very depressed because, spending my 40th birthday with no breakfast, no lunch, and no supper, no cake, no family, no friends because, you know, my local office has bullied me to the point asking me for help from my family and friends where I can no longer have them in my life because I don't feel like it's my family and friends' job to do the job of the Ontario Disability Support Program office worker's job. So I'm really confused, lost. I don't know why my worker has a job or her boss has a job or anybody in the Ontario Disability has a job if nobody's going to do the job of making sure people on disability are looked after, especially in a time of crisis with grocery store prices going through the roof, with gas prices going through the roof, with everything going through the roof, and the carbon tax destroying most of the provinces. Nobody's making any money except for the extremely rich people. I'm wondering why that Mr. Parsa just gets to act scot free like this has got nothing to do with him when this is literally his job. That I'm kind of running out of ways to keep myself fed, and eventually this starving is going to lead to malnutrition, which is probably going to lead to you know, I hope it won't, but if it ever gets to the point where I fear my own death, I will be just live streaming every single hour of the day because I would rather die online as a martyr at this point than let it just pass by. So I'm really confused. I can't make it to a food bank. I'm in no medical condition to go to a food bank. I would say how angry I am that I'm probably should not go to a food bank. I would probably end up, just getting mad and very disgruntled at the fact that I'm getting 3 days worth of food that, won't even see me to an end of a month. So I'm at a very big loss as to why we're getting a 4.5% raise and not a 45% raise. I'm at a huge loss to understand how simple math can't be done in that office. And they can't go, oh, geez, with the cost of rent being on average $1,000 and the cost of food for 1 month for one person for a healthy diet being up in the $500 range, I don't understand how that office can continue to just ignore the problem and treat me no lesser than a dog.
It does sound like a very difficult situation to be
Well, it sounds
in.
like
And
a very legal situation, though. If I were a kid in, let's say, a group home right now and this were happening, this would be a massive lawsuit. I know this because it's happened. Right here in Sudbury, there was a group home before the Northern Lights group homes, and they were doing coke and stuff with the kids. And every single person in there got arrested except for one person who was actually doing their job. That would be Karen Luoma. So, I don't understand. How is the ministry allowed to treat me like this when under every other normal condition this is a crime?
I understand, Jesse, that you're upset by this and
I
that
know,
there's a
but my
lot
my
going on.
parents my parents would not be allowed to treat me like this. I cannot afford the $3 extra per bag to take out trash. I have trash strewn about my room. It looks like a dump in here. Because there's no sense in even putting it in a garbage bag if I can't take it outside. So I am at a loss how you are allowed to treat me like this. Under every other normal circumstance, this is a crime. To have me live in my own filth, to have me starve for 10 plus days a month, to have me locked in my own home because I can't even afford to do proper laundry, let alone buy proper clothing to go outside most days. I don't understand how this is not a crime and how I'm not reporting a crime right now to you, and how under Canadian law not acting upon that crime makes you liable for that crime. I am calling the right office. This is Minister Parsa's office, correct?
You've contacted the deputy minister's office.
This
However, I
will
do provide some administrative support for the higher offices as well.
I know, but when I click on home, members, all, current, honorable, Michael Parsa, the number quoted for the ministry office for Ministry Community Social Services is this number. On his, like, literal www.ola.org/English/member/all/Michael Parsa, his active page, it is showing this phone number.
As I've mentioned before, I do provide basic reception for the minister's office as well. And I am
Then
the
how is the
switchboard for
minister's
the
office
minister.
not heard about this and not taken it upon themselves to actually do something about it proactively? Like, I've checked it out, okay? In the last 20 years, the pay raises for all the Ontario government dwarfs the number that we're asking for. So there's nothing wrong with the ministers getting what is fair. They've got their pay raises. How about they all give them up for the next 5 years and give it to us? How about Mr. Parsa just personally buys me a sandwich today? Because, I'm at a loss. I'm starving to death. I'm supposed to be taken care of by this program. When I got out of the group home, I was already so messed up, they were begging me to get on disability. Begging me. Because they knew it was the only way that I was going to stay out of trouble. That's why I don't work, because I have a very brash personality and get angry very easily, because I had a lot of stupid crap happen to me before I was even 5 years old.
That sounds
I was
incredibly difficult.
damaged beyond belief before 5 years old. Like, my dad tried to assassinate me in my mother's stomach at 3 months because the doctor failed to tie the tubes. Straight kick to the stomach. Learning that at 7 years old probably damaged me a hell of a lot too. So disability is my saving grace. The reason I exist, the reason I probably ain't dead today or in jail. And all
That is
I'm
horrendous.
asking for is enough money to eat. At the
I,
bare minimum, a 45% raise of the basic needs to happen, or I am bringing a lawsuit against you. Every time I call here, this is recorded. It goes up live to my YouTube channel once we're done. And it's part of every little bit I'm doing to make sure that I'm covering my bases, that I've told everyone I possibly can with my verbal acuity, because I have small motor movement skills problems in both hands. And I do not write, and I have not actually passed a grade since grade 3. So, you know what? I don't have the ability to keep writing letters or having Google dictate stuff to send to these people if they're just going to ignore me. This is a hell of a lot harder for me than it is the average Canadian, and I am still being ignored as a disabled person. I don't have the right to travel outside because I don't have the right to a mobility device, because apparently if I don't use it inside my own home, I'm not granted a mobility device. What kind of asinine stuff is that? That is discrimination. I thought we weren't supposed to discriminate against the disabled. Because, you know, I don't get any money from the federal government because they want to discriminate against me because I don't have a disability tax credit. You guys want to discriminate against me because, you don't think I deserve an adequate diet. Like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to prove that you're not giving us enough money to eat? Do I have to die? Is that what your agency's telling me? Just starve to death and be a martyr, and hopefully that fixes disability? Because I'm at a loss to what I'm doing until the end of the month this month. I'm really fucking hungry right now, and I hate to swear, but I just really am.
I recognize that you've been through a lot and that there's a lot going on, and that these issues are really, impacting your life, and they're impacting a lot of people's lives, unfortunately.
Yeah, a lot of
And it
people are
doesn't just
actually committing suicide with drugs right now. A lot of people on disability are those people you see on video out on the street so effing high that you can't even ask them their name. There are people on disability in the last 6 months who have talked to the MAID program about dying because nobody's listening to them. I am part of a group online of ODSP recipients, and there are literally two people in there that we're trying to talk off the goddamn ledge of going to use the MAID program. And I've
I
recorded this. I've recorded these videos. They're private on my Facebook, or my YouTube, sorry. And the minute I find a lawyer, he gets entire access to these videos. I've taken screenshots of conversations that are public just to make sure if they ever disappear that I have copies of them, of people, inquiring about, the MAID program to kill themselves because nobody's listening to them on disability. I have people that are disabled that aren't even being given the Ontario Disability Support Program because of CPP. Oh, they make $1,000 on CPP, so deny them the extra 300. Deny them their disability. How is this fair? I
recognize
know
that
I know a
you're very
scam when I
upset by
see
this.
it. I know a scam when I see it. You took away our $7.99 every few years that helped us move and buy new beds. You've taken away all the power from our workers and given it to welfare where these people don't know us and don't care about us. You've taken away travel money. You've taken away everything. Every time you gave us a raise, you've taken it back somewhere else. It's like we've made absolutely no ground in 20 years. And again, this 4.5% raise, I'm sure you're going to take it back somewhere else. We're going to lose some other benefit. I've seen this little game you've been playing for the past 20 years. I've been complaining for the past 10 plus. I don't understand. I've been complaining since it was David A. Ball. He used to be one of the regional managers and then used to have Parsa's job for a while.
I
I've been
recognize that
at
you're
this.
upset by this, and that this is
It's
a
more
very
than
broad-reaching
upset.
issue.
This is putting my life at risk. This is more than upset. This office, you and Mr. Parsa, on a daily basis put my life at risk in several different factors. I can't even afford daily vitamins anymore. I'm 40 years old. It's recommended at 40 years old you take daily vitamins. But I can't afford that. I can't afford common care. I'm stealing toilet paper from the freaking downtown office. I go into their bathroom during the day. I use a paper clip and I unlock it and I take those giant rolls of toilet paper because that's the only way I ever get to wipe my ass. So anytime I got business there, I bring my backpack. You know how degrading it is to have to steal toilet paper because you don't have enough money to afford it yourself? Or is that lost on you and Mr. Parsa? Is it
As I've
lost on
mentioned
you? Is it
previously,
lost on you and Mr. Parsa that every month here in Ontario, at least 45 people on the Ontario Disability Support Program get in some sort of legal trouble?
as I've mentioned before, I am just the receptionist. I'm unfortunately unable to do anything aside from following up with the program area or advising you
Well,
to
you're a,
contact
you're a Canadian
211 or
citizen.
other resources.
I know, but you're a Canadian citizen. I have a YouTube channel. I've been asking for people to talk out. And if you're not willing to act, none of your "I'm sorry, I know how you feel" actually matters. Because the difference between caring and not caring is action. So, my worker doesn't care. The office doesn't care. None of them are willing to act. The minister's office doesn't care. He's not willing to act. Nobody's willing to act on behalf of the disabled. So, in my lawsuit, I will be setting forth that he has broken the spirit of his job, and for his entire duration as the Honorable Michelle Parsa of the Ontario Disability Support Program, that all his pay should be forfeit. And everyone at that office who did not do their job should have to forfeit their pay as well, because it's pretty much like you're not doing your jobs. So just keep that in mind moving forward. Every time I call here and every time we have this same exact conversation, that part of my lawsuit will state that I want all of the money these people are being paid returned, because the job was not done. And if the job was not done, they do not have a right to any of the money they received from the Canadian taxpayers. Just keep that in mind, because I'm going to make a precedent, if I have to, that if a politician isn't doing their job, or somebody in the politician's office isn't doing their job, that their pay be forfeit and returned. Because we, the Canadian people, aren't going to continue paying people to do jobs they refuse to do. This video goes live today to 38 people. That's 8 more people than I had a week ago. And if current trends continue, in about 2 years, I can be looking forward to 500,000 plus subscribers, probably making money, and visiting your offices in person. So I can't wait for that day. Because if I ever stay making money off this account, I ain't going to spend a dime on me. I'm going to spend it all on making a nightmare scenario for every politician, every day, everywhere. Because what better to do with my pay than straighten out the shit pile this has become? Thank you for taking my call. Thank you for being absolutely useless and doing absolutely nothing. That is the mantra of the politician.
I was just going to recommend, have you contacted a policymaker in your region?
Policymakers in my region are about as useful as having a chainsaw on the moon. They don't listen. They don't care. They get paid too much to listen or to care. That's some of the points I'm making here. These people make too much money to care.
Like a policy-related concern.
Well, until I can talk to the minister about policy, then it's not going to really matter, is it?
As I've mentioned before,
because I'm here to do my job as a Canadian citizen, and that's to make sure you guys are doing your job. And from these calls, everyone can plainly see that you're not doing your job.
I've already followed up with the program area on multiple occasions.
And the program area has done nothing, which means they're not doing their job, right?
I see that you're not satisfied
There's a starving person, but we're going to play, oh no, it's his fault. Oh no, it's their fault. Oh no, it's this fault. Oh no, it's their fault. How does that make any sense?
I recognize that you've already reached out to the minister through the ministry email on multiple occasions, and I understand that this is not the most accessible option.
This is a giant ring around the rosy. You guys are all blaming each other for making me starve, right? Because you've called the special program, they didn't do anything. So, how many people have you told?
That's the extent of my role as a receptionist. I cannot do more.
Well, put me through to someone who's not a receptionist.
As I've mentioned before, I've recommended that you contact a local policymaker in your area. If you do need urgent assistance,
local policymakers don't care about people on disability. Local policymakers don't care about people on disability. Local policymakers can't make it so I can eat. Local policymakers didn't give me a 4.5% raise.
At this point, I just recommend you reach out, find support networks. There's nothing more that we can do for you today.
There are no support networks.
There are a lot of needy callers who are calling at this time. I do need to move on to the next caller.
Yeah, just like you said last time when there was no needy callers and I called in and got right away, right? If I call back and there's no phone queue, and it rings right back to you again, how bad does that look for you? Don't lie to me, okay? Don't lie to me. Yes, I know how the system works. There's 5 of you.
Unfortunately, there's nothing more I can do for you today.
Yeah, there is. You can contact the minister, tell him you got someone on the line who's starving to death. And it is his responsibility.
I do not have the contact information. Now, I do have other callers on the line.
Do you have someone there? Do you have someone there that does have that information? Yeah, and hang up. This is our policymakers. These are our people we're paying to do jobs. Why are we paying them to do jobs?